Joseph Megel, the Director of Silhouettes of Service. Joseph, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, that's a question. Do you have some time? I guess I focus mostly on new work, new theater. I've been working with playwrights a long, long time. And since I joined the faculty at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, I've been focusing more broadly on the development of new work in multidisciplines. So I'm working with artists constantly on the development process and looking at how different artists create new work and the steps they need to create it. And in that, I'm also the artistic director of my theater company called Street Sign Center for Literature and Performance, where we tend to work on new pieces, sometimes just thinking about classics in less conventional ways. But, you know, I also just direct theater, so that's what I do.
How did you come to be a part of Silhouettes of Service?
I met Gregory at the University, North Carolina. I think he heard that I've done a fair amount of work with one-person shows, and he asked me if I'd like to be involved. I thought the subject was really, really important.
What is Silhouettes of Service about?
Gregory wanted to honor veterans by interviewing veterans from multiple wars, from World War II forward. So obviously, the ages of the veterans were going to be have a wide range of ages. And he wanted to just honor service and look at service from a broad spectrum. So he interviewed them, and then I think Gregory led in how we were organizing, and it wasn't necessarily by which war, but more on the subjects of service. So we see him play all of these multiple characters one at a time, but as you go through the experience, you're going through different ways of thinking about service from different experiences. Even going into combat in certain situations, the sense of what it felt like to return, what it felt like to commit to being in service, and how different veterans had different relationships with the service that they gave our country.
What would you say to someone interested in working the arts? And we're talking anybody from young kids in school who sort of love to do theater but don't really know what else there is besides acting or even behind the scenes, to people who have gone to school and have a BA or a BFA. You know, what would you say to somebody interested in working to the arts?
I think it's important to remember, it's funny to work at a university where I know that some of my students, their parents' biggest fear is that they would actually go into the arts. And so it's a hard thing to make a career in the arts, especially, again, in the States, right? So I think first of all, one can find the love and the appreciation and the critical awareness about what art is and what theater is as an art in one's life and enrich your life by just being engaged with it in multiple ways. In order to actually sort of commit to it as a career, that's a whole other level, and that I think someone have to have a need to do that, right? You have to do it because it's hard enough when you have to do it. But if you're just thinking about it because you like it, it's probably not enough. You have to, but then it has to be passion, right? In order to go that far. But engaging with it or sort of like even doing theater right here, it's a way of opening a part of yourself that may have impact in other ways, and I just think it's great to open yourself up to that, like opening yourself up to music or opening yourself up to visual art. So, and I think all of those ways in which you can engage with the arts will enrich your life.